Dhyanamoolam Gurormurti Pujamoolam Gurorpadam Mantramoolam Gurorvakyam Bhaktimoolam Gurorkripa Cheto darparnamarjanam bhavamaha davagni nirvapanam shreya kairavachandrika vitaranam vidyavadhu jivanam anandambudhivardhanam pratipadam purnamritasvadanam sarvatmasnapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagmangha Devamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. The Divine Souls. Regarding the path to God realization, I explained to you that every soul desires perfect happiness, and that happiness is only attainable through knowing Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna himself is unlimited, everlasting bliss personified. To understand how to reach him, we need some help. No one can know how to reach God on their own. Everything is explained logically and scientifically in our scriptures. For example, if somebody thinks, oh, I can know God on my own, I can reach Shri Krishna, Vedas say, Indriyebhyah parahyartha arthebhyascha param manah manasastu para buddhir buddhiratma mahan para mahatah paramavyakta mavyaktat Purushah Parah Purushan Naparam Kinchit Sa Kashtha Sa Paragati. Okay, so you think you can know God. Okay, what can you actually know? Let's consider this. Kathopanishad is saying. How do you know anything? You have to experience it through your senses. Through your indriya, the sense of sight, sense of hearing, taste, touch, smell. Through this, if you experience something directly, then you have the knowledge of that thing. And if you can't experience it, you can't know it. So what can we experience with our senses? This mantra says that our senses can grasp certain things in this world, but there are many things, many objects or many tattva in this material world that are beyond the reach of our senses. For example, you can't see from here to downtown Atlanta. It's not even that far. Even if somebody says to you, oh, just go outside and tell me, I think I forgot my water bottle down at the basketball court. Just stick your head out the door. Can you see it? Even that far, we can't see. We have to go and look. Our senses are so limited. Then we have things like atoms, electrons, protons. We can't see those. We can develop technologies that multiply our ability to perceive. But even that has its limitations. Sure, it keeps growing and expanding, but the more science is able to perceive, again, it's still just perceiving through the five senses. Although perhaps augmented with technology, the more we are able to perceive, the more we realize is out there, that is beyond our current perception. So the objects of the senses, 99.9% of what exists in this universe is beyond the grasp of our senses. We're talking about physical matter here. This mantra says, beyond that is your mind. Mind is also a product of Maya. Mind is more subtle than any physical matter of this universe. So if your senses are unable to perceive most of the physical existence of this universe, and the mind is more subtle than that, then how would the senses be able to grasp the mind or experience the mind? Isn't it interesting? We generally say things like, I'll believe it when I see it. When I have the direct experience, then I'll know something exists. Well, you can't even perceive your own mind. With your eyes, ears, nose, taste, touch, you cannot even prove the existence of your own mind. Mind is too subtle, beyond the grasp of our senses. And beyond the mind is the soul. The soul is divine. Senses, objects of the senses, the mind, these are all a product of Maya. But the soul is even beyond Maya. So when the senses cannot perceive the mind, which is a Mayic thing, then what hope would they have of perceiving the divine soul, your true self? So we can't even, using our material senses, we cannot even prove our own existence. Our existence of our soul is beyond the reach of the senses. I mean, obviously we know we exist, but we can't prove it with the senses. The experience is beyond. So beyond the senses are the objects of the senses. Beyond that is the mind, which is a much more subtle aspect of Maya. Beyond that is the soul. Beyond the soul is the original Mayic energy. Mool Prakriti Maya. We're all under Maya, right? We cannot escape Maya, so beyond the soul is Maya. And beyond Maya is Shri Krishna. This is why we say, Yasya matam tasya matam matam yasya na vedasah avigyatam vijanatam vigyatam avijanatam Kenopanishad. The one who thinks he can know Shri Krishna knows nothing. And the one who understands I cannot know Shri Krishna has understood the fact. God cannot be known through our own effort, through our own means of our physical senses, or even our mind. Our mind cannot know or grasp or understand Shri Krishna. When we cannot grasp or know or understand our own soul, what to say of Shri Krishna, who is the soul of our soul? Thus, God is absolutely beyond. Our scriptures explain that no one can reach God. No one can know Bhagwan. No one can make the claim that I can know Shri Krishna. It's impossible. And yet, many have known Shri Krishna. Uncountable saints have seen Shri Krishna. Uncountable saints have known Bhagwan with their mind, perceived Bhagwan with their five senses. But that was not through their own power. When they surrendered, then they received Shri Krishna's grace, and with his grace, a soul can know him and perceive him. Nayam atma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena yamevaish vrinute tena labhyastasyaisha atma vivrinute tanugvam swam Kathopanishad. Not through any amount of self-effort can someone reach Bhagwan. But when Bhagwan graces you, then anyone can know him. And when does he grace you? Tapa prabhava deva prasada cha. We have to do something, Shvetashvatra Upanishad says. There's something we have to do to receive Shri Krishna's grace. That is, become Sanmukh. He's willing to grace us any moment. The moment a soul becomes Sanmukh, means turned towards Shri Krishna, surrendered to him, then he graces. He gives his divine power. We get divine senses. Now with his eyes we can see him. With his ears we can hear his flute and his words. With his nose we can perceive the divine fragrance. So with his senses we can know him, or with his divine power in our senses we can experience him. With his power in our mind we can know him. Becoming Sanmukh means surrendering. It means we have to make a connection to him, or we have to make our mind completely joined with him. When our mind is fully joined with him, only then his absolute grace is received. So we call that becoming Sanmukh. But to become Sanmukh, as we've been discussing the last couple of days, we need a path. There's something we have to do to cause us to gradually turn and become surrendered to Him. Then we automatically receive His grace. He's just waiting to grace us. When we surrender, then He's able to. It's not that He's delaying, but if a soul is not surrendered, the soul has free will. The soul can keep their mind away from Shri Krishna and not receive His grace. That is our prerogative. So we need a path. And I told you yesterday that there are only three paths: karma, jnana, and bhakti. Because we are ansh of Satchidananda Brahm, therefore there are only three possible paths. The path which is affiliated with Sad Brahm, Sat aspect, that is called the path of karma. The path that is affiliated with Chid Brahm, the Chit aspect, that is the path of Gyan, or the path of knowledge. And the path that is affiliated with Anand Brahm, the Anand aspect, that is the path of Bhakti. And just like our scriptures tell us the actual reason why a soul can't experience God without surrendering, in the same way our scriptures tell us the logical process to eliminate the paths which are not correct and determine what is the exactly right path to follow. There are 5 criteria laid out in our divine scriptures, and this has been explained by Jagadguru Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, that only the path that satisfies all 5 of these criteria is the correct path. So let us go through these 5 criteria. Anvay. This is a logical one. It means, does this path take you to your goal? What is our goal? To attain Shri Krishna. We want to experience Bhagwan. We want God realization. Does the path take you to that goal? That is Anvay. So let us see, out of the 3 paths, does karma take us to our goal? Ved says, in fact, no. Although karma is described in Vedas, in fact, it's 80% of Vedas is related to the practices of the path of karma. Karma means performing good actions, doing your duty with the mind attached in those actions. Either your mind will be attached in the world, or the mind will be attached in God. So on the path of karma, the mind is not in God, it is in the world, but you're following all the do's and don'ts of Vedas, how to be a good person, what is your duty. Okay, so if somebody decides, I am going to dedicate my life to following all the practices of Vedas, how to be a good person, how to fulfill my duty, how to help others, they're completely devoted to this path. What will they attain? Ishtapurtam manyamana varishtham nanyachreyo vedayante pramudha nakasya prishtete sukrite nubhutvemam lokam hinataram vavishanti. Mundakopanishad says the best they can do is attain an exalted Mayic status. They would still be under Maya, but they would receive an elevated reward. What is that reward? Going to Swarg. Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam Kshirne punye martyalokam vishanti. Gita. You go to Swarg and you enjoy the vast pleasures. The pleasures of this world, multiplied millions of times, can be experienced in Swarg. So just like I told you yesterday that if someone said, if I gave you $100 billion, do you think you would be more happy than now? All of us would think, oh yeah, definitely. With $100 billion, who wouldn't be more happy? But I told you, you're multiplying by zero because there's no happiness in any material thing or person. So even if you go to Swarg, those are still Mayic experiences. Refined pleasures, elevated experiences of sattvic things in Swarg. And yet you're still multiplying by zero. There's no perfect happiness in Swarg either. And Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna Mamupetya tu Kaunteya Punarjanma na Vidyate. Gita. The one who goes to Swarg has to return here on earth because even Swarg itself is not permanent. When pralay of the Mayic world happens, the pralay of Swarg happens also. Even Brahma's abode is not permanent. So when Swarg itself is not permanent, then what to say of the pleasures of Swarg? You go to Swarg, you enjoy temporarily, and then Hina-taram va vishanti. You return to this earth. So Swarg is just a brief interlude. You don't attain divine happiness over there. Even being in Swarg, you don't know Bhagwan. You don't get to meet Shri Krishna in Swarg. It's just a Mayic elevated state, which is temporary, and then you come back here. So you see, the path of karma does not satisfy this first criterion. It does not give us our ultimate goal. What about the path of Gyan? The path of Gyan can take you to a very high state, even higher than the path of karma. However, the ceiling for the path of Gyan is complete purification of your Mayic mind. Let's say you have a piece of rusty iron. It's all rusted, deteriorating. It has many impurities in it. Okay, you take that, you melt it down, you purify it into stainless steel. It's still ferrum. It was rusty iron, still ferrum. You purified it. What's the most you can make it? Stainless steel. That's it. You purified the ferrum. That's it. Can you purify that ferrum to the point that it becomes gold? No. But that's what we have to do with our mind. Our mind itself is Mayic. We purify it. The path of Gyan means you're meditating without surrendering to the personal form of God. Just like in the path of karma, there is no surrender. By definition, if the one following the path of karma has their mind surrendered to Shri Krishna, then it's not karma anymore. It's karma plus bhakti. But we'll get to that. So when I talk of karma, it means without the bhakti aspect. With bhakti, it's called karma yoga. That gives a different result. But without the bhakti aspect, without surrender to Shri Krishna, just karma takes you to Swarg. that's of no use. Same with the path of Gyan. By definition, the path of Gyan means without surrendering to Shri Krishna or any personal form of God, someone meditates on formless God. Shri Krishna's formless aspect, it is still Shri Krishna, but since all of his powers are dormant in that aspect, he does not grace as formless God. He graces in his Sakar Roop. So the Jnani is not receiving Shri Krishna's grace, but he's meditating on his formless aspect and conceiving of his oneness. This is the practice on the path of Gyan. That can result, although it's a long path, it takes many lifetimes, but it can result in complete purification of the mind. Then what? That's it. That's the ceiling. When your mind is fully purified, then you know, in your Mayic mind you experience, I am not a material being, I am the divine soul. Now, we call that the state of Atma Gyan, self-knowledge, self-realization. But is it truly Atma Gyan? We're being very generous giving it this name. Think about it logically. The soul is Mayic or divine? Divine. Soul is Ansh of Satchidananda Brahm. Now you've fully purified your mind, established your mind in a sattvic state. So now you can correctly understand, I am the divine soul, but can you truly experience your divine soul in your pure Mayic mind? No, you would need a divine mind, even to experience your own self, your divine soul. Therefore, this is why I'm saying we're being very generous to the Jnani, saying that you can attain Atma Gyan without bhakti. But technically this is how we say that, okay, the Jnani on his own, he can get Atma Gyan, even though it's not true Atma Gyan. For that you need a divine mind, but theek hai. We have to let him have that much. So we say you can attain Atma Gyan with this path of knowledge, path of meditation which I described. So then the Jnani, now in his pure Mayic mind, he experiences the divinity of his own soul to whatever extent you can in a Mayic mind. This is Atma Gyan. Can he get Brahma Gyan? Can he know God through this? No, this is it. That's it. He purified his mind. Now without getting Shri Krishna's grace, there's no more progress. He's reached a purified Mayic state. If his body were to expire and he were an Atma Jnani, he would be reborn in the Mayic world just like you and me. Of course, he doesn't lose his state. If he dies an Atma Jnani, he'll be reborn an Atma Jnani. But the thing is, nobody stays in that state forever because the mind is the reservoir of uncountable past actions, all those sanskars. Eventually, some strong worldly sanskar will exert pressure on his mind, and that Atma Jnani will get attracted in Mayic enjoyments again, and he'll fall from his state. Yenyer vindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayasta bhavada vishuddha buddhaya aruhya krichrena param padam tata patantyadhona yushmadangraya. Bhagavatam. That Jnani may believe himself to be liberated, vimuktamaninaha. अपने आप को मुक्त मान लेता है, मान बैठता है. he mistakenly believes that he is liberated because the experience of Atmagyan is even beyond the highest experiences of Swarg. He believes it to be the ultimate experience, and yet he falls. Aruhya krichrena param padam. From that highest attainment of Gyan, patanti, adha patanti. He falls down. He loses his status. So you see, the path of Gyan without bhakti is also incomplete. The path of Gyan does not result in God realization. But the path of bhakti does. Because bhakti itself means surrender. I told you we have to attach our mind to Shri Krishna to receive his grace. So this itself means bhakti. Bhakti revainam nayati, bhakti revainam darshayati, bhakti revainam pashyati, bhakti vashah purusho bhakti reva bhuyasi. Ved says, only bhakti joins a soul with God, no other path. So, according to Vedas, bhakti is the means to reach Shri Krishna. Bhaktyaatvananyaya shakya ahamevam vidhorjuna gyatum drashtuncha tatvena praveshtuncha parantap. Gita. Bhakti is the means to reach Shri Krishna. Bhaktyahamekaya grahyaha. Bhagavat. Only through bhakti am I attainable. Bari mathe baru hoy grit sikata te baru tel binu hari bhajan na bhavatariya yah siddhanta apel. Ramayana also says, even if you can do impossible things like squeezing a rock and getting oil out of it, or churning water and getting butter out of it, although such things are technically impossible, but even if you could make it impossible, you still couldn't attain Shri Krishna without the path of bhakti. So bhakti, according to our scriptures, satisfies the first criterion, which is anvay. Does the path take you to your goal? Yes, bhakti takes you to your goal. The path of karma only takes you as far as swarg. The path of gyan at best could make you an atmagyani, and that too temporarily. So bhakti satisfies the criterion of anvay. Byatirek, you can understand logically. Anvay, by following this path, will I reach my goal? Anvay. Byatirek, is there a workaround? Or, better said, there should not be a workaround. In other words, is there a way that I could not do bhakti and still attain my goal? This is byatirek. So this condition also has to be satisfied. If there's a workaround, then bhakti would not be counted as the true path. The true path, the true means to attain your goal must satisfy condition number one. Does following this path take you to your goal? Okay, that one's logical. But now we're going deeper into it. Okay, is there another way? Could I not follow that path and still attain my goal? The scriptures say no. I quoted already from Kathopanishad saying that Nayamatma pravachanena labhyo na medhaya na bahuna shrutena. Okay, study the scriptures, use the power of your intellect, meditate on formless God, debate, listen to lectures. In other words, through the power of your own mind. Kathopanishad says you'll never reach God through that. You have to do bhakti. Bhakti revainam. It means only bhakti. There's no other way. Gita also says, Naham vedair na tapasa na danena na chejjaya shakya evam vidho drashtum drishtavanasi mam yatha. Shri Krishna says, if a person wants to experience me directly, they cannot achieve this by studying the scriptures. They cannot achieve this by doing austerities, practicing yoga, following the injunctions of the path of karma, or even by giving charity. A person cannot reach me. Only through bhakti, bhaktyaatvananyaya shakya, through single-minded devotion, a person can attain me. Bhaktyaham I already quoted from Bhagavatam. Bhaktya hamekaya grahyaha. I am only attainable through bhakti, not through any other means. Na sadhayati mam yogo, na jnanam karma uddhava, na swadhyayas tapastyago yatha bhaktir mamorjita. Shri Krishna further says in the Bhagavatam that I am not attainable through any of these practices. Yoga, karma, gyan, swadhyay means self-study of the scriptures, austerities, renunciation. None of these things result in attaining me. Only bhakti. So bhakti satisfies this second path, this second condition, that without it, attaining God is impossible. Without bhakti, there is no workaround, there's no other way. You cannot avoid bhakti and still attain the goal of reaching Bhagwan. This is why the other paths are dependent on bhakti. Bhakti is the only joining factor between a soul and God. So if you were to add bhakti to karma, it becomes what? Karma yoga. Here the yoga means joining. Yoga means yuj yoga. Yoga means to join. Join means sanmukh ho jao. So while doing karma physically, your mind is doing bhakti. Your mind is joined with Shri Krishna. That is called karma yoga. Karma on its own is not a path to God. Karma, when you add bhakti to it, is a path to God. But it's not the karma that is resulting in God realization. It's the bhakti. So you drink amrit straight. Amrit means the nectar that makes you immortal, the nectar of immortality. Drink it straight. That's like doing pure bhakti. You become immortal. Okay, mix that nectar of immortality in some Coca-Cola. Okay, now drink that. You become immortal. Is it the Coca-Cola that made you immortal? No, it's the nectar of immortality you mixed into that. So similarly, physically following the path of karma does not result in God realization. But if your mind is attached to Shri Krishna, then you will become God realized. But it's the attachment of the mind to Shri Krishna that causes the God realization, not the physical practice of karma. Where is the mind? That is important. Same for the jnani. The jnani who, instead of only meditating on formless God, realizes that I need the grace of Shri Krishna. I need the grace of Sakar, Bhagwan. Then that jnani becomes a jnana yogi. Now it's not just the path of Gyan, it's the path of Gyan Yoga. So now the path of Gyan Yoga joins the mind of the practitioner with Shri Krishna or any of his personal forms, and now that Gyan Yogi will receive the grace of Shri Krishna, which will eliminate his Mayic bondage, and then he will get Brahma Gyan. With Shri Krishna's grace, that Gyan Yogi can know Shri Krishna. So you see, both the path of karma and Gyan are dependent upon the path of bhakti. There is no workaround. Only bhakti results in God realization. So bhakti has satisfied the first two criteria, Anvay and Vyatirek. Does this path take you to the goal of God realization? Anvay. Yes, bhakti out of the three paths is the only one that satisfies this condition. And condition number two, Vyatirek. Can you not follow that path and attain through some other means? If the answer is no, then that path has satisfied that condition, and this is true for the path of bhakti, because without bhakti, all other paths are incomplete. All other paths require you to add in bhakti in order for them to successfully take you to God realization. Now there are still three criteria remaining. Anya nirapekshata. Does bhakti require any supplementation from other paths? It should not. Otherwise, it won't be counted as the true path. In other words, you're not allowed to abandon all the practices of karma and just follow the path of bhakti to reach God. No. You have to bring this in. You have to observe this. You have to do that. Only then you'll reach God. Or, no. You can only do bhakti. It doesn't depend on anything else. And you can still reach God just by doing that. This is an example. So we'll see tomorrow, or actually 2 days from now. Tomorrow we'll be having a outdoor satsang, kirtan, and some devotional activities around the campfire as a part of our camp out. So we'll see Saturday night, we'll continue this series, and you can see, does bhakti satisfy this requirement that it should not depend on even a single practice from any other path? That's number 3. Number 4, the true path, whatever outcome it provides, that attainment should last forever. And the 5th condition or criterion is that the true path should be open to everyone. It shouldn't have any stringent requirement or pre-qualification that limits it to a very narrow few people who could qualify. It should be for everybody. Sarvatrakita. So we'll see, does bhakti also fulfill these 3rd, 4th, and 5th conditions? If so, then it is the correct path. You can come and find out on Saturday night. Now we'll do a little bit of kirtan. You can turn to page 161 in your same book, the book number 1, page 161. मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे,
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे,
ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे 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 ठाकुर नीले नीले गोरी गोरी 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 राधे।
मेरी गोरी गोरी राधे।
मेरी गोरी गोरी राधे।
मेरी गोरी गोरी राधे।
मेरी गोरी गोरी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी 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 राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर नट खट भोरी भारी 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 राधे।
मेरी भोरी भारी राधे।
मेरी भोरी भारी राधे।
मेरी भोरी भारी राधे।
मेरी भोरी भारी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी 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 राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर चाकर स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर चाकर स्वामी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर चाकर स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर चाकर स्वामी राधे।
मेरी स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरी स्वामी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद 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 ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर याचक दाता मेरी 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 राधे।
मेरी ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरी स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर ऋणिया साहूकार 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 राधे।
मेरी साहूकार राधे।
मेरी साहूकार राधे।
मेरी ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर मूर्छित होए लखी 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 राधे।
मेरी ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी स्वामिनी राधे।
मेरी स्वामी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर प्राण सम प्राण प्यारी 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 राधे।
मेरी प्राण प्यारी राधे।
मेरी प्राण प्यारी राधे।
मेरी प्राण प्यारी राधे।
मेरी प्राण प्यारी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरी है कृपालु राधे।
मेरी है कृपालु राधे।
मेरी है कृपालु राधे। मेरे ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर न्यायाधीश है कृपालु राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद ठाकुरानी 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 राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद 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 ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरी ठाकुरानी राधे।
मेरे ठाकुर गोविंद 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 ठाकुरानी राधे।
बोलो युगल सरकार की, श्रीमत सद्गुरु सरकार की जय। जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे।